Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hot Action Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kerr, and we made it. It is week 13. It is Thanksgiving. And we're doing good. I need to start off the show this week by explaining something that happened last week. I changed a couple of my picks midweek. On Saturday, I switched two picks. I switched off of San Francisco and New York Giants. Both of these were the correct moves. Unfortunately, I did not post about these switches, and my record does not reflect that quite correctly. So, I tried to post a YouTube short explaining all of this, and I thought I'd hit the button and let it go through, but then on Monday I checked it and realized that hadn't happened. So y'all are just gonna have to believe me. And also the proof is in this website, this office football pool. All these wins and losses came in, as if the picks were switched. So what you saw me do last week might not have been accurate. This is the first time this has happened, but I did try, but technological issues and I failed. So you're just gonna have to believe me. I switched everything, and that includes one of my best bets. We switched sides, and San Francisco became Green Bay, and that was correct. So yeah, it was because essentially when I made my picks, I didn't realize that Daniel Jones had been cut, or that Brock Purdy was out, and that switched, my thinking on those picks. So that's it for that. Let's review what happened last week, starting with Thursday Night Football. We very smartly picked Cleveland to beat Pittsburgh. Cleveland was getting 3.5 points. It was a battle of a game, and as the game went on, the snow began to fall, and it was a winter wonderland by the end of the game. And Cleveland won the game outright. It was a true war of attrition, and Cleveland came out on top. It was a great day. Cleveland wins 19-24. That's all we need to know. And then one of the switched games, I switched off of the Giants to Tampa Bay, and the Giants got stomped out by Tampa. It was 30-7. One moment I did happen to see Baker Mayfield score a rushing touchdown and do the Tommy DeVito Italian fingers style celebration, and it was disrespectful all around. 30-7, absolute butt whooping, making fun of Tommy DeVito. I managed to get off that before I realized what was going on, so good for me. That's 37. That's a dub for your boy. And then we had Detroit minus 7.5. That was 24-6. This Detroit team keeps blowing teams out. They're looking good. We love to see it. And then we took Tennessee plus 8.5, and Tennessee would win this game outright. Houston, in this second half of the season, they are not looking quite like the juggernauts they were to end last season or begin this season. They are something to monitor going forward. All right, here we go. And then one of my two losses this week, we took New England plus 7.5. That was a bad one. New England was getting absolutely shelled all game. Miami, with Tua, looks like they might be able to do a bit more. This game ended 15-34. That was an L. Now, this game was crazy. We had Dallas at Washington. This game had multiple kickoff return touchdowns. Washington missing extra points. We took Dallas plus 9.5. They wouldn't need any of these points. They win the game outright. 34-26. Absolutely insane game. Another one that was tough. We took Minnesota minus 3.5. And they were covering till the very last moment of the game when they allowed Chicago to take a 2-point conversion, if I remember correctly, to push them out of the cover, and we lose by a half point when with the spread involved. So that was an unfortunate one for your boy, but ultimately there's a lot of green this week, so I'm not too mad about it. But it was painful to watch. Minnesota was winning by like 2 scores for most of the second half, and they let the 2-score lead just evaporate. Then we took Carolina plus 10.5. Like I've been saying, Kansas City can win games. They are just very not great at blowing teams out this year. They know how to control a game. This is a very mature football team. There's a reason they're 10-1, but the reason is not that they blow teams out. I said that we were going to thread the needle. We threaded the needle. Kansas City wins. Carolina covers. 30-27. This one was a nail biter. There were moments where Kansas was covering. There were moments where Carolina was covering. It was, full value entertainment-wise. Then we took Denver over Las Vegas. Vegas was getting 5.5 points. Denver wins by 10, 29-19. Denver just keeps taking care of business. I'm really liking this Denver team. They're hard to bet against right now. And we had Arizona and Seattle. Seattle minus half a point. Seattle wins 6-16. Not a lot going on for Arizona during the game. They turned it over on downs one time. They threw a pick six. They really kind of beat themselves, and Seattle just managed to take care of the ball. But Seattle also had their own warts. They threw a pick in the end zone when they could have easily put some points on the board there. But yeah, 6-16 is probably pretty fair. They really shut down Arizona on D. So that's how that goes. And another win for your boy. Finally, then we got San Francisco at Green Bay. We took Green Bay minus 2.5. We switched off of San Francisco because they didn't have a quarterback. And I didn't feel great about them. I was only taking the points because, kind of like the points there. But yeah, switched to Green Bay. That would finish 10-38. And yeah, Green Bay's been a bit inconsistent, but not so inconsistent that they can't smoke San Francisco. All right. Very cool. Then we finished the day off with Philadelphia at the Rams. We took Philly minus 2.5. And Philly just kind of slowly beat the Rams down really bad. The first half was fairly competitive, but in the second half, Saquon Barkley just tears off multiple 50-plus yard runs for touchdowns. He barely looked like he was getting touched on these touchdown runs. Second half, they took a strong lead, finished the game 37-20, easily cover the 2.5-point spread. Another dub for your boy. And then finally, we have Baltimore at the Chargers. We took Baltimore minus 2.5. They would win that one 30-23. And my final score would be 11-2 or 11-2 on the week. Pretty proud of myself. Went 4-5 in best bets. So that means I am 105-74 in my predictions against the spread. And I am 33 out of 55 in my best bets. So I'm pretty happy with my record. Last week I was yelling about what do I got to do to get some attention out here. I got some suggestions in the chat or in the comments, and I am trying to make them happen. But yeah, I think the best thing I can do is continue to put up records like this. I'm impressed with myself, and I think everyone should be impressed with me. So I'm excited to see what I can do with the rest of this year. And if I don't goof it up, we might be able to make some money here. So with that being said, let's go on to this week's predictions and see if I can avoid goofing it up. All right. We got Chicago at Detroit. for the morning Thanksgiving Day game. There's 3 Thanksgiving Day games, 1 Friday game, I guess that's Black Friday game, and then we got the regular Sunday slate and Monday, like as usual. So, first of all, Chicago's all over the place. These division games can be tough to bet. I 10.5 points in a division game is a lot. Chicago managed to cover 3.5 against the Vikings just last week. Detroit, though, does really like to choke teams out. But I think I will be taking the points here. It's a Thursday game. They tend to be pretty sloppy. I won't be surprised if it goes the other way, but I'll be taking the points. And yeah, this seems like one of those ones where it feels trappy. It feels trappy to me. And up next, we have 2 teams that I would rather not bet on either of them. We got the Giants at the Cowboys. Giants get 3.5 points on the road. Both these teams have looked pretty bad. The Giants will be playing Drew Lock, who hasn't played yet this year, I believe. I'll be taking Dallas at home. I'll be holding my nose and taking Dallas. I don't know. The points might be worth it. This is tough. What do I do here? I'll take the points. If I have to pick a team, why not just take one that gets free points? All right. Then we have Miami getting 3.5 points at Green Bay. I think Miami might struggle in Green Bay with cold weather. Tua and the Miami boys don't tend to play great in the cold. And I think this Green Bay team is rolling a bit. Let's see what happens here. I will take Green Bay again. All right. And then we have another divisional game on Friday at noon. We got Las Vegas at Kansas City. And as per usual, I'm thinking Kansas City wins the game but fails to cover. They thread the needle. We're taking Vegas plus 12.5. I know Kansas City's at home. But yeah, I tend to think Vegas will, play their hearts out and try to keep it close. And by close, I mean within 12.5 points. That's not too much to ask, I hope. All right. Then on Sunday, we will start the slate with Seattle at the Jets. And always fade my Seattle picks, but I am taking Seattle minus 2.5 points. The Jets have just been shambolic lately. I think that they will have trouble moving the ball against Seattle. All Seattle has to do is take care of the ball, not do anything boneheaded, and I think they should be able to cover this spread fairly easily. And then next up in Sunday morning, we have Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's getting 2.5 points. I think this is the game where we shut the door on Cincinnati's playoff hopes. Betting on Tomlin as a dog has worked tremendously throughout history, so I'm going to do that. Pittsburgh's getting 2.5 points. We're taking the Steelers. Then we have Indianapolis at New England. New England is getting 2.5 points at home. We are taking Indy here. New England's been too inconsistent. I'd probably rather not bet on this game if I didn't have to bet on every game. But since I have to, I will be taking Indy. I think that they, on their day, they can make some stuff happen here. All right, moving on. We have Arizona at Minnesota. Arizona's getting 3.5 points on the road. I will be taking Minnesota minus 3.5. I did this last week with Minnesota against the Bears, and I regretted it, but I'm ready to get hurt again. So let's take Minnesota minus 3.5. All right, now we have Tennessee getting 5.5 points on the road at Washington. Washington has been, started the year off very hot, but they are having trouble finishing games in this second half of the season. I'll take the points here. 5.5 seems like a lot. I know Tennessee has been pretty bumbling, but they're also like fairly efficient on defense, and yeah, I think the points are a lot here. I've been taking a lot of points and lately, and it's been working out. So let's go with that. All right, another morning game. We have the L.A. Chargers at Atlanta. Atlanta's getting 1.5 at home. I'll be taking the Chargers. I love this Chargers team. I like Atlanta to win the division, but anything could happen here. I don't know. I think the Chargers are probably a bit better than Atlanta, and that's all I need. I'm taking Chargers minus 1.5 points. Then we have Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's getting 5.5 points at home. That's not enough. We're gonna take Houston. Houston's been struggling a bit down the stretch here, but Jacksonville is atrocious. I know this is a divisional game, and Jacksonville's getting 5.5 points at home, but I'm not seeing it. This Jacksonville team is so bad. I think they could get the first overall pick next year, and I kind of hope they do. And like I've been saying since I think week 2, how does Doug Peterson still have a job? This is crazy. Moving on to the afternoon slate. We got Tampa Bay at Carolina. Again, another abysmal team. We are taking Tampa Bay. That doesn't seem to be enough points to me. I think Tampa Bay could win by 15. Carolina is brutal. That's all I need to say. Moving on. Now you got the Rams going to New Orleans. Now the Rams really got smoked last week by Philly. And I'm not sure if the Rams are done or not, or if they're having the year from hell. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of stuck around in the division. New Orleans, I don't know if they have much to play for here. I think I'll be taking the Rams, but I do not really like betting on this team right now. We're taking the Rams, and we're going to kind of hold our nose and take the Rams here. All right, then we have Philadelphia at Baltimore. This is a tough game. Baltimore is giving up 2.5 points at home. Baltimore kind of has the capacity to beat really good teams, even quite badly on their day. Baltimore at home is tough, but they also kind of have the capacity to flub games entirely. And this Philly team is, doing really good stuff. I think I'll be taking Philly plus 2.5 actually this game. And I won't be surprised if it goes the other way again, but I like the points here. I really like what I'm seeing out of Philly. I think Philly is the second best team in the NFC. I mean, I think they are by record, certainly, but I like them a lot. Their defense is really rounding into form at the right time. And what we're seeing out of Mr. Barkley is absolutely exceptional. This is kind of like a offensive player of the year matchup where it's Henry versus Barkley, and that might play into the minds of the voters at the end of the year, what happens in this game. So it's going to be one to watch. It's something I really want to watch on Sunday, so I'll probably be watching that one exclusively, no red zone, locked in for this afternoon game. And then, finally, Sunday Night Football, we got San Francisco at Buffalo. San Francisco is getting 6.5 points on the road, but I think they're really beat up. They're not beating team, they're getting smoked. I think Brock Purdy is back, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We're taking Buffalo minus 6.5. Even with Mr. Irrelevant on the field, we gotta take Buffalo here. They've been smoking teams. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Buffalo. And then finally, Monday Night Football, we have Cleveland at Denver. Cleveland's getting 5.5 points. I'm loving Denver. They are a cover machine. A wise man once said, good teams win, great teams cover. Denver is a great cover team. And okay, what do we got here? Tie break. Total of Cleveland at Denver. I think that's going to be a total of, let's say, 38. Low. We're submitting. That's everything this week. And best bets are going to be Seattle, Chargers, Tampa, Buffalo, and Denver. And like I said last week, my lock of the week is going to be that Kansas City wins the game but fails to cover. So yeah, it's the same as last week. We're threading the needle with Kansas City. So that's everything for this week, y'all. This has been the Hot Action Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kerr. And hope you're winning money. See you next week. Peace.